FaZe being on top. I can see Queso being on top, and now they stand in each other's way.
Both teams have lost to version 1, and to your point, when you talk about what Queso's done domestically, the results haven't really added up here. And same thing for FaZe, honestly. Both teams being dismantled by version 1, and this is really the part where we get to set them apart from each other here. FaZe and Queso facing off in a Game 5.
Like you said, the success that Team Queso has had, 2 regional victories, a runner-up, and the one they didn't win. A dominating winter split for them. But this is when it all matters at these majors. Huge prize pool, but more importantly, the points haul is significant.
And both these teams were beat in a similar way. A lot of balls being cleared over the last man. That was both problems here. Teams overcommitting, not giving respect to the clear. Here's one coming off the crossbar for Cynical.
Wow.
First killer shot's too high. Another shot comes through. How about all 3 for FaZe, and they're on the board first.
Oh, you look at this. There's a double commit here. Both players miss. First killer hits it off the crossbar. Somebody better send AJ some flowers for saving that play. That was not how you write it up, Corelli, but certainly FaZe is going to be happy with that, seeing some mistakes from Team Queso and also getting AJ involved early.
And you heard the desk talk about bringing up the energy, the passion in these games we've seen from teams like version 1 and many others. First killer wanting to amplify that for FaZe Clan. And they're starting off on the right foot here, but Queso surely not going down without a fight. Here's a shot coming through. It's turned away by the Queso defense. As first killer trying to make it tough for the transition. AJ got bopped out of the way. It was an open net for a second, but he recovers nicely and clears it off his back wall.
FaZe, nice start for them. Rise taking time. First touch a bit heavy, and Syphical's able to clear that off to the side and get the corner boost. AJ kickstarts the counter. Syphical, that first touch went behind him, gave up the ball. Vatira over to Joyo. Rise on the challenge. You can see Vatira having to wait for that mid boost. It does come, but he'll have to retreat. First killer towards the backboard. That touch light. Vatira will beat Syphical to the ball, who dives in. First killer with the demo. Seeing some good pressure come out from FaZe Clan. Team Queso just trying to find that counterattack.
It certainly is scary if FaZe keep up this type of pressure. Here's AJ. Flip reset, gets one to go over, but Rise shutting him down. Another thing we talked about with FaZe, they're just lacking the creativity, which is weird to say because FaZe has been so smart on the ball individually and with the passing. But here at the Winter Major, you haven't seen it. Here's a pass across, and there it comes for FaZe, 2 up.
And a great first touch here. You see Vatira gets demoed, and then AJ taking that hit gave him the shot option and the pass option. You saw Joyo recognizing that, had to stay and wait to see what AJ did, and the pass was perfect. FaZe Clan, very strong start now, up 2-0 as we approach this halfway point of Game 1.
Highly anticipated matchup here. Both these teams, I think for Queso, has gained a lot of fans. For FaZe, certainly earned them over the season that we've seen them. And they come and match up here in the Winter Major inside their own group, and right now FaZe looking the better team.
Nice start from FaZe, but these 2-goal leads can vanish in an instant. We've seen it happen so many times. Hira getting demoed again. First killer will leave that. Rise comes in, but AJ able to clear it out. Vatira popping it off to the left. First killer had the backboard option covered.
That physical game, so important for FaZe. First killer averaging over 1.5 demos per game. That was 5th in North America. He's bringing that out here in the Winter Major, and Queso getting torn apart here on a couple of these attacks. Here comes Joyo, though. He's so dangerous from this position. Rise trying to place it.
Wow.
First killer able to make the save.
Great save there from First killer. Now the counterattack's on. First killer flipping to it. Rise hits it off to the side. Chipping it around the defense. Solo play. What? Rebound will go in. And that effort that you saw, look at the patience from Rise. And you saw First killer wanted to block the shot option, but Rise was able to get it across net.
And that was so smart from Rise, positioning himself on the far side of the ball, making the defender go into the challenge, a challenge he knew he could at worst just stop it in front of the net. and he took it all the way to the wall. Queso getting smart and creative there behind the ball. Now Vatira, he's got an open net. He'll pitch it through, and Queso just like that, able to tie it up.
And no one from FaZe was anywhere to be seen, and AJ tried to be cued off the wall, Corelli. And that first touch is absolutely necessary. That first touch that he made gave it away, and Vatira was able to ground pitch it in because everyone on FaZe thought that AJ was going to take that downfield.
And you said it, these 2-goal leads, they can vanish very quickly. Queso roaring back here off some kickoffs and some great play individually. Now threatening again as the defense has to scramble back. Vatira will stop the transition from FaZe.
Joyo, you see Vatira trying to get a bump on AJ, who does make the play. Now Rise sees Joyo across.
Oh.
Rise couldn't hit Joyo, but did still have that threatening ball. Typical up against Rise. No one makes contact. Joyo calling Vatira off. Will take it airborne. Pinched out wide by AJ. Now First Killer will center this ball. Joyo leaves it for Rise. Nice misdirection play there. Gave Rise some space, and now Vatira will have the ball. The 50 up the wall. First Killer will tip it. Does power through. Will stay on the play. Gets the demo. Typical double tap.
What?
Goes for net. I was expecting the shot. Or the pass, Corelli, and he goes for the shot.
No, sir, he's going for gold, and with 12 seconds left, look at the angle from Typical. Joyo didn't even give him the space. He didn't even give him the credit. He didn't think Typical could hit that redirect, but what a double tap from him, and FaZe Clan on top with 12 seconds left.
Miraculous shot from Typical. Now, last second chance for Team Queso. The double tap denied. Vatira will need to keep that ball up. He can't. And FaZe Clan will take a contentious game 1.
Wow. And, you know, I think that score was a little bit closer here than I think what's given over to FaZe Clan, because I do feel like they owned most of that game, and give credit over to Queso. They did a great job of getting those 2 goals back when FaZe Clan gave them the opportunity. But realistically, FaZe, Typical, especially there right at the end, really doing the dirty work, and a second touch off that back wall sends FaZe into the lead here in this series. You can see the fist bumps all around coming out from First Killer. The Des talked about him. We talked about him. The energy needs to be brought up for FaZe, and they brought it here in game 1.
In talking about energy levels, you know, you could feel, or you can just imagine how much energy is going to get sucked out if you lose this game. FaZe up by 2, and there was a mistake by AJ on the wall that gave that second goal away to Vatira. That really could have this might be the game that you look back to and be, you know, say this was the swing game.
Sure.
And really the player in the play that stood out to me, Corelli, was that Typical shot.
Yeah.
The defense didn't even, I think it was Joyo in net, didn't even think he was going to take a shot. He was ready to whip around and block the pass.
Right. And that's how we, again, I asked for creativity out of FaZe, and you're seeing it here, and just stellar play coming out of a shot from Typical. It wasn't the worst game in the world for Queso, but they've got to pick up the pace. FaZe looking a little bit more in form here on day 2 at the Winter Major, as they're up 1-0 here in the first series.
First Killer, not the best touch, will have some support. The ball gets away from FaZe. Quick counter. First Killer doesn't make the backboard read, and Joyo will put it in.
How did he get that second touch? A huge mistouch on the back wall from First Killer, didn't even make it, and Joyo just follows it up. Surely he saw First Killer, but a gift off the back wall for Queso, and they're up 1-0.
And this game also started with a bit of a misplay from First Killer. It wasn't the most egregious, but then missing that touch. Tough break for FaZe. First Killer, I think he's recovered quite well.
Hello, First, and AJ, you know he's going to set him up with a great touch here. Gets a piece of Rise just off the hood, and allows First Killer to come through. You know he's going to put away the double tap every single time when he's given the space. We're tied up.
FaZe showing what they're made of. Vatira getting shut down by AJ. Hard hit to the corner from Typical. Joyo off the wall, will clear it out. Can't get the block on First Killer. Now Vatira awkward. First Killer in the corner, pass to AJ. AJ will let it through to Typical, and AJ gets the boost steal.
See if Queso can break out here, as they have moved onto the FaZe clan side, but first killer trying to get away. Now Joyo trying to get a flip reset here, didn't get it. And AJ had a free clear. Rise not going to let him out that easy as Queso trying to mount the attack.
Rise trying to keep that ball in his possession, hopefully to get a pass out to the corner, and it does push FaZe back. Rise now flip reset. You can see the defense being pressured. FaZe trying to get their feet under them.
A little slow on defense there from FaZe. First killer pulling a lot of the weight from the midfield all the way back to the goal line to make those saves. FaZe not wanting to overcommit and send too many players, and it's paying off here as AJ is able to make it onto the Queso side.
Rise taking it into an air dribble, playing the pinch, but first killer collects nicely and delays the flick. This rebounds out to AJ. Joyo will get a piece of that backboard bounce. AJ had the read.
Great touch there from Joyo. AJ wanted a clean double tap over the top. It's got to be quicker than that if he's going to beat Joyo to his own backboard. As things have leveled out here, that's a dangerous one across the box of Queso. FaZe trying to turn back around. Sypical has options to his left, but can't hold on to it. A good cut here from Rise. As FaZe, they're trying to turn it back around. Vatira with the control. He's past two, and he'll take a challenge into AJ, who wants one off the ceiling. Little wave dash to get that touch, but he didn't get it, and Joyo to clear it away.
Yeah, you saw the mechanics there from FaZe Clan, but you also saw Vatira able to dodge 2 demo attempts. The demo's a factor in game 1. Vatira starting to sniff him out. AJ, big boom downfield, Rise. That's a center ball, and AJ will score it off the missed touch from Rise.
And that's probably the biggest head scratcher so far here in this series. Rise, he had no help, and I guess he just assumed his teammates would be back, and it was a little bit late for Joyo and Vatira, but still not the best touch coming out from Rise. A lateral ball coming off the sidewall, straight back into your box. You know FaZe is going to crash the net.
And I'm with you, Curly. That must have been a communication lapse where Rise thought that somebody was next in rotation, like you said, because if somebody's there, they would have been able to get a nice clear, but you saw both of them streaking back. You wonder if there was a bump off the ball, because both players were late getting back.
And it's rare to see Queso, be out of rotation, so you're right, something must have happened. The Des was talking about, they really are a 3-man unit, and we've seen that so many times in Europe. But so far, when they've come up against FaZe, it's been very shaky from Queso.
Queso trying to fight from behind yet again. Typical with a challenge. First killer pre-flip doesn't even make contact. 18 boost. We'll see what he does with it. Lobs it up to Sypical. A nice pass, double tap ball. No, he goes for the pass. Sypical!
He's a genius!
He'll take the shot when you don't expect it, and just like that, he'll also take the pass.
What a pass from Sypical. That is insane coming off the bottom of his car. FaZe Clan up 3-1, and Sypical having a fantastic series here so far.
And there were a few question marks around Sypical. You saw him make a few defensive mistakes. You even saw it in the fall major, but this series against Queso, he has been spectacular.
I mean, he was even shaking yesterday as well. There were some fair criticisms over him, and now a good demo here as first killer gets Vatira, but Vatira's gonna still bounce it in, and Queso, 56 seconds to make the difference.
You see Rise taking out AJ. I don't know if AJ would have been able to even stop that ball, looking at his trajectory on the jump. But Team Queso, regardless, will get the goal. Under a minute left. Team Queso, and they tie things up. Bounce pass to the middle. Rise.
Wow.
Up against first killer. Vatira, happy to let that one float across net. Rise passes to himself. The shot,
there they are.
It's good. Where was FaZe? Rise recognizing a window.
Oh my.
And they left. AJ and First both left at the same time.
And where are they going? They gotta protect the net. And Queso's gonna take advantage. It was wide open for them at a point where FaZe just 2 seconds ago had all 3 players on the goal line.
That was a head scratcher. It was AJ and First Killer both thought that they were the second man there, so they both left. Somebody needed to at least stay in the play. Or at least stay in net. And now you see Team Queso bounce back, maybe even taking the lead here. The shot will be saved. FaZe struggling to keep their head above water. Typical clearing it out. Vatira over to Joyo. Rise is waiting.
Full boost. Oh my.
The Musty double. Oh,
he got
it. He puts in upper 90 off the Musty pass from Joyo.
What a touch from Joyo. And FaZe Clan deserved that. They gave him too much space, too much time. And in game 2, Queso makes the comeback.
What an ending. Unbelievable from Team Queso. And you said it, Corelli. FaZe brought this upon themselves this game with some of the mistakes that they had made, some of the decisions, a little bit head-scratching from FaZe. But Team Queso, they didn't, you know, they had to make things work. You saw Rise self-pass, putting that shot in right away, and then that last play, Joyo, that was a crazy pass.
Yeah, and Queso, it really speaks to their perseverance here, the determination to come back into a series or a game like this. And FaZe, you really look to them and you can see they are jumping up and down on the Queso side, looking straight into the eyes of FaZe. They know how much this series means. There's a lot of pride on the line as well, not just the group score, but of course just the NA versus EU. And again, a lot of fans looking at this matchup, no matter where it happens in this tournament, as you know, I think a pinpoint for the gauge of a region.
And also, Corelli, just looking at what Queso's been able to accomplish over this split, many people had them as the favorites to win it all coming into this event.
Yeah,
so
for good reason.
And they're showing it there. However, FaZe, they had some control over that game. Just a few mistakes that gave it away, and now Joyo. I thought someone was going to stop him. Apparently, that's impossible.
Look at this man fly. A little flip reset off the ceiling, and a monster flip reset at that. A second touch off the crossbar. Too easy for Joyo in the first 16 seconds.
The amount of power he got on that flip reset flick, I didn't even think he would be able to get it to the crossbar. Another flip reset from Joyo, going for the double, but Typical says, I've seen enough. I got to break this play up.
And now Queso's offense really ramping up, and this is where it gets scary for the FaZe side. Their defense has been their biggest point of contention. It's been the biggest criticism from casters, fans alike, and it has crumbled in game 2. Now FaZe have to find the offense. That one's turned away by Vatira as FaZe looking to ramp up.
Rise, controlling the ball off the wall. Nice challenge from AJ. Joyo dodges the bump attempt. Rise, getting the mid boost. Vatira can't stop Sypical. Sypical, nice 50,
wow.
But a powerful win. Vatira, all he could do is stay on trajectory and use air roll, how to boost. No adjustments.
Some good stuff here from Queso. Look at the challenge game now. As that one goes in favor of Joyo. FaZe struggling to hold on to it. First killer did his best. Sypical sitting on the inside of his post. Here comes the shot. Joyo. Now Vatira will take one. Still in the hands of Queso. Another near post shot. Rise will slot it. And Queso up by 2.
Look at this pinpoint placement from Rise. It's a rebound. Joyo called off. That is the sign of good comms as well. Very easily could have been hit across field if that ball was not called. And then that shot from Rise. Exactly where it needed to be. Team Queso has woken up.
And again, you kind of look towards FaZe to make the adjustment here. Queso, they figured their side out. A couple of misplays coming out from them, but since game 2, it's oh my. Well, that's a whiff from Vatira. Sypical's going to get the credit for it, but I guess another mistake coming out from Queso as Vatira doesn't get the read.
And that is a little bit embarrassing.
I was just complimenting them.
Just let that be a lesson to all you gold players, diamond players, plat, whatever you are. Maybe you're even Grand Champ or SSL. Even the pros miss sometimes.
Yep, it's true.
Don't beat yourself up.
And luckily for Queso, they do have a bit of a cushion here. Vatira trying to get one back, and he might. A good demo, first killer. Again, racing back to make the save. It just seems like FaZe, no matter how slow Queso is to move down the field, they're still a step behind defensively.
Oh, and Joyo Leaning back, recognized that ball was too high. Awkward defensive positioning here, an opportunity for FaZe. Sypical, not sure what he wanted to do with that ball. Let it get away. Rise with the fake, but it's called by AJ. On 2 go. Rise needed more boost to make that play, still making things difficult for the defense. Vatira,
what?
Self-pass,
oh
air
my.
dribble 50.
What?
And it will go off to the corner.
Look at him work inside the box, and all FaZe looking at him. Now Rise with a big fake. He got AJ, but first killer not fooled. But Queso making the defense look silly at the moment, but they need that last touch to break through.
It is a dire situation. The panic button getting pressed by FaZe Clan. But they hold up. Typical. Still getting a piece of the ball. AJ downfield, out of boost. Sypical! Sypical picking this ball up off of AJ, making the play.
I mean, watching that one from AJ's POV, who didn't even see Sypical pop out of nowhere right under the ball. And for Joyo, it's so tough to know who's going to get the touch. FaZe Clan able to tie it up here in Game 3.
And it's so interesting to see Sypical continue to evolve on FaZe. He has been a huge part of the Vanguard assault for FaZe Clan, where we saw so much of him on Space Station Corelli was as that third man, that shooter that's going to come in, take solo plays if the ball bounces out, or take the shot. But so far in this series, Sypical has been leading the charge.
Oh yeah, put away quite a few goals here against Queso, and so far both the goals in Game 3. And maybe looking for his third as he gets a dunk over Vatira. Now he's going to chase the last man. AJ got tripped up and he's got no boost. Will have to take the challenge. It pinches out to Rise. Vatira also chasing players on the FaZe side. AJ able to poke it away. Here comes Sypical as he bumps Joyo. FaZe trying to make something of this quick transition, the counterattack on, but the defense gets back. First killer stopped in the corner as Rise able to get a hold of the ball.
Nice block, double commit. But Joyo is able to stay right behind the ball, even getting another touch, staying on it, and the 50. Joyo heavy lifting even to the final play, trying to get that bump on AJ. First down to Sip. Sip. Looked like he was thinking about going for the 50 there. Vatira, nice 50. Rebound out. First killer gets blocked. And the boost steal from Vatira. Chance now for Team Queso. But that is a big flick that relieves a lot of pressure for FaZe.
This one comes across the box as well. FaZe finding more and more opportunity, even with the Queso attack. First killer bumps one out of the way, and AJ gets some help from the post. FaZe Clan in the lead here with 15 seconds left.
And you can see the smiles from FaZe on this one. AJ going with the ground pitch. First killer able to harass the goalie, and that one so close. That one rolling off the post and in. Close call, but FaZe Clan make it work. Right back out to Vatira with boost. AJ's up. Backboard. Shut down by first killer. Rise trying to get to this ball, and it doesn't happen. FaZe hold on. They took the lead in those final moments with that bump play, the ground pinch. You know, again, that is not the FaZe Clan that you expect, but it's enough to win.
A little shaky from FaZe there, actually very shaky from FaZe there. Again, defensively, the biggest criticism of this team, and you saw early on here in this game, it was a disaster for them, plain and simple. Queso were all over them. It started off with the Joyo double tap, but you could just see double commits coming out in a lot of these shots, and again, it's that triple threat from Queso. FaZe had a hard time keeping up with it, but Sypical was the big man to get the job done here for FaZe once again, revitalized the offense, and they really got going. You could see the vibes on this team going up and up when things are going right for them, and right here, sitting at a 2-1 against Queso in the right spot.
And I've been impressed with FaZe's composure. They've had some really big moments that they needed to step up, and to me, the person who has been stepping up was Sypical. That shot with almost no angle to work with, to put that in and to help FaZe get that win was massive. And then even this game, or even in that pass into the middle when you expect him to take the shot, Sypical has been playing his heart out. And now FaZe Clan are 1 game away from taking this series up against Team Queso.
Interesting kickoff there as that one pinched into the FaZe Clan corner. You don't see that too often. As we get things kicked off, game 4, FaZe trying to get through this series, and it's open for AJ. They'll start off the scoring again, 16 seconds in, and FaZe Clan on top.
It's just typical. It's like he's just a bully. He's a bully, Corelli. Gets the demo, gets the bump, and then instead of rotating out, what does he do? Looks for another bump. He is never satisfied. Just a man of violence today.
He certainly has been quite the nuisance for Queso. Offensively, defensively, physically. He's been in the face of Queso, and they have not had an answer for him. Queso now trying to regain as we're less than a minute in to game 4. Typical. Still playing with this one as he's trying to find a way out to get this one to first killer. He might have gotten a bump on Fatira, but he still gets the clear out. As Typical all the way back on his goal line. That'll cost him the challenge, and first killer will get the demo on Rise. FaZe Clan able to get out.
And not only offensively are FaZe Clan utilizing these demos wonderfully, they're also doing it defensively. You saw that demo from first killer on the retreat, slowing down that attack, but now we're seeing some aggression come out. Rise bumping AJ out of the play, making space for Joyo. The flip reset pass, but that's going to be shut down, and AJ will poke it downfield. Now first killer to Sipical, but Sipical's demoed. First killer goes tit for tat. And it is a bloodbath out there, Corelli.
Oh, tough angle there for Sib. Everyone committing here from FaZe as they're not coming up with a good shot. Rise slowly getting this one out. A good dunk will guarantee Queso breaks out. And they're trying to hold on to the ball. This one lobbed towards the net. Joyo wants the bump and instead runs into the back wall and clears it out.
Also low on boost. Rise, a touch, buys tons of time. Vatira slowing it down. It's bumped from Sipical. And now Joyo trying to control it down to the ground. Gets a good 50, but zero boost. Vatira, nice boom downfield. First killer, first touch control. Did he get the flip reset? It did. Did he get the double?
Wow.
No. But you saw the creativity, you saw the idea.
Wanted a couple. Now AJ's caught out with no boost. First killer there to save the day, but this one comes out to Joyo. It's wide open, and it's a tie game just before halftime here in game 4.
And looking at this again, Curly, you'll see after the challenge came in from first killer, AJ, instead of covering net, was so confident that first killer was going to win that 50 out to the corner that he decided to go get boost. And we've seen that a few times now from FaZe Clan where they leave the net wide open.
That has been, again, the criticisms of FaZe. And that one really started with AJ creeping up a bit too far with no boost. He couldn't make the challenge in the midfield, and so the ball trickled all the way to their side. FaZe just kind of trying to recoup as Queso put on the attack. Here they come again. Joyo's going to beat the last man in AJ. Second touch for Joyo, looming! Top shelf for Joyo! Queso into the lead!
This was sweet. High altitude, bar down. Joyo, you can't do it much better than that.
That's twice now in game 4. Rise linking up with Joyo. But that was all Joyo there on that last shot. And here he comes again, trying to throw off the defense. Rise tried to put a shot on. FaZe trying to find their way out, but it's not going to happen here. It does pinch towards the Queso side, and Rise is backflipped. That one could have been on target. A second touch doesn't come. Shot near post is saved away by Vatira.
First killer threatening that double tap. The pressure, too much. Sipical finishing this one off. It started out with first threatening the double. The shot from AJ first, instead of rotating out, recognizes that Sipical's waiting in the middle of the field. And FaZe, they go for the jugular, and they find it.
And one of the reasons why Sipical was brought onto this team to round out that triple threat, and Sipical really pressing up here against Queso. It's paying off. Lateral balls, 45-degree balls coming out from the Queso box, back out to oncoming attackers for FaZe has really paid off with this one. Vatira's just gonna barely miss the touch. That one would have beat the defense. Here comes FaZe back the other way as Sipical throws it towards the net. Joyo has to play it off his back wall and does nicely here to get back to the midfield.
And not only did Joyo get that stop, recover on the backboard, but was also able to transition that into an air dribble and Rise making the most of the breakout. We saw him pass to himself before.
Wow.
And he's done it again.
That's something special. Close to what Typical did early on. And what an angle there from Rise to put that one away and keep Queso in the lead.
And Joyo even poking that ball out to Rise so that Rise could make that play. And Corelli, the genesis of that play was from the defense from Joyo. The defense getting the backboard read, taking it into an air dribble, and then getting the follow-up, giving the breathing room to Queso. And now the 50, Joyo!
Barreling his way through the FaZe Clan defense. And he's just picked up this ball so many times, and he beats the first man so easily. FaZe has to make the save. The first touch is on the goal line, and Joyo is able to dunk it through. A minute left on the clock, and Queso up by 2.
And buckle up, Corelli. I think we might see another game 5. Team Queso have been ferocious. Under a minute left. Joyo trying to pad the lead. Typical stopped by Rise. Rise. The tap down. And Vatira going to be diving in, and you can't really blame them. They're seeing FaZe Clan start to stumble a little bit, and that's when you want to let a haymaker go.
When it rains, it pours. And for Queso, that's 3 in a row in very quick succession here. About 30 seconds, they've put 3 away. 40 seconds remain on the clock in game 4, and FaZe stunned on how this one's turned out.
Queso, they're finding their footing. Corelli, we saw in this game offensively hitting a different level. Rise was so good. The self-pass, and now we see a 6th goal come in. Vatira able to extend that lead even more. And you know, I think every goal at this point is it's icing on top of the cake, but at the same time, you do want to try to tilt FaZe Clan as much as possible.
And you know you can. You know you can. And Queso certainly running up the score here in game 4, and why not? When FaZe has given you so many opportunities, they might get another one. As it's just, this ball has been locked on the FaZe side for the last minute and 30 seconds. FaZe have not been able to break out, as they might here in the final waning seconds. Game 4, we talked about it. FaZe looked great off at the start, but Queso came back into it, and they looked a whole lot better. 6-2 here, and we're going to a game 5.
Team Queso, FaZe Clan, we were expecting this one to be a big battle, and it turns out that was true. Going to game 5 here, Team Queso, FaZe Clan, we've seen ups and downs from both teams. We've seen defensive mistakes from both teams. We've seen lots of bumps and demos from FaZe Clan. And, you know, looking at the outstanding plays, though, I think you have to give it to Queso. They have been able to do some incredible things, especially Joyo has been wild.
Yes, it has been Joyo. That was the difference maker here in Queso. We saw it later on in this winter split. Joyo really came online for Queso, and he is a special player. You saw so many times he would pick that ball up into the air and force defenders to come after him. The flip reset always beat the first man. He's just so dangerous behind the ball, and if he's not scoring, he's setting up his teammates on the attack. And Queso, you saw what happened when they put up 6 goals like that. FaZe just couldn't keep up.
And also, you know, Joyo phenomenal, but Rise, the self passes that he's been making has been throwing FaZe for a loop. You see that FaZe, their defense, sometimes they tend to double commit. Sometimes they tend to panic a little bit on defense, and sometimes that extra self pass off the corner, off the wall can really make it difficult for FaZe Clan, and that has been the case. FaZe now will have to stop this surging Team Queso offensively, who has been so deadly.
And again, there's been shining moments here for FaZe. It's not the offense that's failing them, it's the defense. That's what's really come back to bite them.
And now, Corelli, we have Game 5 brought to you by Lamborghini. FaZe and Team Queso have been back and forth, but it's going to be decided here and now.
An unbelievable series so far. It's been back and forth, James. Queso's had FaZe's number, FaZe back the other way. But one more game to decide this group.
All eyes are on Joyo to see if he can pull off more miraculous plays. Will Typical be able to deliver now what he was able to do earlier?
numbers not in FaZe Clan's favor. 3-3 in game 5s and 7s. This split, Queso 10-2.
That seems like Queso has the ice. This is when it really counts, Corelli, at the major on LAN. Can Queso still do it? First killer, high lob, Joyo flip reset. But AJ able to shut that down, but you saw Joyo still able to get back to that ball and make it difficult for the defense. Typical, the miss on the backboard, rebound out.
Here comes Vatira.
Still in front of net, AJ a panic jump off the back wall, won't make contact. Rise, backboard pass, and gets the corner boost steal, but somehow FaZe Clan are able to escape with their lives, and you see a team bump from Rise. It's starting to get hectic out there on Champions Field, and Joyo will strike true, getting the first goal of Game 5.
It's dicey on both sides, but Rise with 2 demos opens up the space, and Joyo just sneaks it by AJ. Queso opening up the scoring here first in Game 5.
And you see how devastating that must be for AJ. You even saw the boost trail of the ball turn to orange. AJ flipping right around it, so close to getting the touch.
Man, he's running away.
Joyo will do it quickly off kickoff, chips it around AJ, and then Sipical. What do you do? I thought, why not stop the backboard bounce Sipical going into the net? You'll wonder if nerves were playing a factor on that decision from Sipical on how to defend it. It is a tough situation to be in after AJ gets beat on the chip.
Really confused in some of these defensive fronts from FaZe. Is it their doing? Is Queso that good on offense? The answer is certainly yes on that one. The FaZe have stubbed their toe multiple times defensively. And now Queso just working it from their own side. FaZe very conservatively on attack. His first killer wants to try and get a hold of this one up the wall. Queso players chasing after him. This one dangerously comes out the first. He'll put it on target, but Joyo with a huge save.
Joyo like a spider monkey all over that upper 90. I didn't even see him till he got the save. Joyo, huge play defensively for Team Queso. Has both goals, denied the one scoring chance for FaZe so far. And now we see Vatira dodging the bump, Rise with the breakaway, open net goal, and Queso are up by 3.
And FaZe really pushing it here on offense. You talked about Queso getting inside the heads of FaZe. You wonder if that's coming into this Game 5 because FaZe looking extra jumpy to get that offense going past halftime. Queso running away with it.
This looks to be insurmountable for FaZe Clan. Less than half the game left to go. Team Queso, they might not be done scoring yet. They've got a 3-goal lead. Vatira trying to bump AJ off the ball. Something has to give for FaZe Clan to get back in it.
I don't know if they're going to get that. Queso stopping them every step of the way. In the midfield, they've been denying, and FaZe, they've been able to scoot the ball into the box a few times. But you see Joyo denying the big clear from AJ. Here comes Vatira. He'll put it through. It's 4-0 Queso.
And you can see the fierceness from Vatira on the cams. Getting loud. And that shot, something to be proud of. Upside down, banging it in. And Team Queso have run away with Game 5.
Dire here for FaZe. Time not on their side. The offense not working. Defensively crumbling against Queso late in this series. That one's poked towards the net.
No
and
boost.
A pre-flip with no boost. AJ will get there. And FaZe trying to break out, but met by Queso every step of the way.
And Rise, you saw the wave dash on the side. Almost able to get to that ball. Now the control from Vatira. Pops it over first killer. Rebound out to Joyo, now hits off the backboard, Sipical up. It's all FaZe Clan can do to just clear the ball, and they need to score 4.
A minute left on the clock here. FaZe haven't even scored 1. They've got to get down the field. Space spot for Sipical, tried to pass it over to first killer. A weak one here from AJ. Sipical not able to get the touch. First killer tries to keep it in play for FaZe. And Vatira will run out the clock here, taking his sweet time. As FaZe, they need something now.
FaZe still getting denied on the goal line, and AJ will punch one in. Still hope. There is still hope. It is a big mountain to climb. 36 seconds, 3 goals. Corelli, I think we will need to see a kickoff strat here if FaZe has any shot.
I think you're going to need divine intervention, James. Is really what FaZe are going to need. Because right now, it's all Queso. And one given back is not enough to take them down. Queso have battled back in this series, and in Game 5 have taken over.
And it was this player here, Joyo. Joyo, so good. Starting out with 2 goals and then getting that massive save to prevent FaZe Clan from getting back within striking distance of Team Queso. Joyo, play after play after play. Man of the match for me, Corelli.
Oh, yeah.
And Team Queso has made a statement, going the distance against FaZe Clan and getting the win commandingly here in Game 5.
One back for FaZe, but that's all they're gonna get. Queso coming out on top here in Game 5. What a match we just saw. FaZe, they were shaky on defense. Queso didn't have the best start, but once they got into this series after that first game, they looked a lot better.
They certainly did, and we saw the defensive mistakes from both sides. That was a bit uncharacteristic, that we were wondering how that was going to play out. Will Team Queso start to pop off? How will FaZe react? Early on, impressed with FaZe's composure. We saw especially Sipical in some games step up, make plays, get wins for FaZe, but then again in Game 5, when it's all on the line, not able to come through.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talked about some of the criticisms that people had about Sipical yesterday, and I think today he played a great series here for FaZe. Just defensively as a collective, it just didn't come out for them. Offensively, still FaZe very lethal here, but again, you're going to see some of these replays where you just see FaZe leaving the net open, and of course Queso's going to come through and just walk right in.
These, I mean, just looking at these shots, I would not want to be a defense trying to keep Team Queso at bay. They really started to hit their stride, and, you know, particularly Joyo, defensively, offensively, pick whatever part of the game you want. He was so impressive. One of the plays that really stuck out to me was he was last man back, third man had to make the play. It was going to the backboard. When I'm playing, I'm happy if I can just deny the backboard bounce. But when Joyo able to deny the backboard bounce, take it into an air dribble, and beat the next defender, and be able to get his teammate a scoring opportunity. Yeah. So it was remarkable.
He certainly has been a special player here for Queso. And in fact, I believe we got Johnny Boy sitting next to him. Talk about this match.
Yeah, thank you. I am indeed joined by man of the match, Joyo. But I've got to ask, how did you suddenly level up like this? Was it the preset change? Was it the vibes? You got to explain, because when I start off slow, I stay at that level. But you just went from, you know, for you, not that great, and now suddenly the best in the world. How do you do that?
All in my team, they give me such confidence. They're just great, honestly. They help me in game. They help me get my confidence up. They always tell me you're the best player in the world, and it helps so much when I'm playing. Honestly, when we scream and just like get hyped, it just makes me feel so good, and I play better when I do that.
Yeah, it looks like the getting hyped and getting loud is a big thing for all the teams here. You know, FaZe were doing that a little bit. Were you guys hearing that and thinking we've got to do something to stop that?
We weren't really listening to them, to be honest. We just focus on ourselves, but we scream when we score, but we don't notice the screams when we get scored on. We just focus up and get ready for the next game.
So that locks in second place. V1 have taken top spot. They beat Detonator. So you're waiting for third place in Group B. Or sorry, no, you're not. I'm getting that mixed up. But you're now on the right track. How are you hoping for the lower bracket round 1 tomorrow? Are you just going to bring back the same energy you had today?
Sure, yeah, why not? I mean, we've done it in a regional before. There's no reason why we can't do it here.
And yeah, have you got anything you want to say to your friends back home? Anyone you want to shout out now that you're here, you're in LA, and you're living the dream?
Shout out my mum and dad. They've always supported me, and they always helped me on this journey here. Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations, Joyo. Congratulations, Team Queso, on second place in the group. Join us after the break for the final match of the day.